Welcome back to Do You Love Your Mom and Her Two Multi-Hit Attacks? Anime Review Episode number 6. This one being the last two official episodes that aired for the series. Yes, I know there's no VA. Don't worry, I will cover that. These episodes still have the long, ridiculous titles. The Courage to Accept Things, A Loving Heart. Also, a full body armor? That's what a mother needs. Wait, armor? Yeah, seriously, that's the name of the episode. And 12 is called I Hope Against Hope the Wish Would Not Be Granted, but it totally was. Yes, the series and their weird titles. Okay, now, the first episode picks up not long after the events of the last episode, where Mystico and his group, along with the group of moms, and Teresa, who is one of the GMs of the game that they're in. So they go inside and they come across Rebel. Rebel, pulled out from the ceiling. And they're like, wait, this wasn't here before. Well, if you watch the last episode, yeah, it was not by pure accident. So they all just, and of course, Wise, and this is something quite interesting with Wise, apparently because of all the teleportation, he's like out of MP. So basically, Mystico, being a gentleman, decides to carry her piggyback style. And Wise is blushing at this because it is very heavily implied that she's in love with him. Yeah, one of two women it is. Porta, I do not know if she is. In the case of Machiaka, she definitely is. And of course, Mystico's implied having a thing for her too. So, those two definitely. Wise, on the other hand, it's not clear if he does have a thing for her. He does the thing for the other woman, the healer. So they go up, of course, Porter goes up first, and they all go to the second floor. Not much of an issue there. And then you have Anita, where she just digs up the actual, wind up. And it's sort of a teleport. It got damaged, and she got teleported someplace else. So then they go up some floors, and, well, they come across this weird trap. And they basically just, they get briefly separated. Actually, no, that comes up later. So, they go up these floors, and then first, before we get to the whole separation thing, that happens in the next episode. So, they have Anita, where she shows up, and, of course, they go to, I think it's supposed to be I'm not sure what floor this is, where they decide they'll stop and have have a lunch break. Not a bad idea. Of course, they're all mothers, probably all able to themselves. They basically eat. And, of course, Mamiko wants to basically wash all these dishes, be a very helpful person. So, Aliyah shows up and challenges her to a washing contest. First, washing dishes. Who does it better? And she does it just a pretty decent job. Basically doing hand washing style. And in the case of Mamiko, apparently, for her, the pipes in the building didn't work, which I thought that was kind of weird. And yet, it worked for hers, not... I thought that was kind of weird. So she used the water from her own water sword in order to wash the dishes pretty quickly. What she does, she just takes... Get this. Get this. Dish soap, puts it on her sword, and then just wets it all, and bam! Instant dry. And then Doreen's like, okay, you didn't win this contest? Next one, washing clothes. Not kidding about that. So, basically what they're washing is Mystico's shirt. I'm like, okay. So you're washing on a washboard. And when Mystico says washboard, Wise thinks that he's talking about her chest. Now, I'm like, okay. I think she's flat-chested, but when they show her later on, she's not that flat-chested. Trust me, I've seen in anime women have small breasts. Don't worry about that. So, she does a pretty decent job, and Mamiko does chastise her for it, for doing a bit of a rough job, might damage her, so she washes it, and basically turns her sword and makes a giant bubble and make it into a freaking washing machine. Yes, a giant bubble. That's a freaking washing machine. Oh, delicate wash, please. And it's done. I'm like, okay. Apparently, she's never washed clothes the old-fashioned way. Washboard and a bucket. Yeah, apparently she's never did that because she's from modern Japan. Of course. And then after losing 2 times, they don't see her again until they get to I think it's now it's the 90th floor. So and then after that they go a bunch of floors, and then they reach the 80th floor. What they see? Oh, they push this ball. Oh, we feel lighter. And they don't notice until they get to the 90th floor exactly what the heck this thing is. And they get there, and then Mystico's the first person you see him doing is like, oh, he's his underwear. So all the girls, including his mom, which he's so embarrassed of saying that. Yeah, his mom in her underwear. Yeah, and of course, Aria shows up, and she also is her underwear, too. So, of course, we have everybody practical underwear, with the exception of these all these moms. Because they decided to avoid the traps. Apparently, Serena, she got some of the trap, too. So, bye-bye none off it. Apparently, she wears purple underwear. Okay. In the case of Wise, looks like she wears one of those shirt bras. And I should point out, though, her breasts are not that small. Seriously. They're regular-sized breasts. Trust me, I've seen women with smaller breasts, and her breasts are pretty normal size. They're slightly smaller than Uchi's. But, yeah, they're smaller than Memeko's, but they're not. She's not technically flat-chested. I mean, trust me, I've seen in anime women with smaller breasts. So... Then, of course, all the guys that she had pretty much converted. Yeah, this is all good guys. No girls. I'm like, what? Did any of these mothers not have any daughters? Why is it all boys? This makes no freaking sense at all. So, they all turn to monsters. Of course, they recognize one. Of course, they want to kill them. But these monsters are, in fact, the former kids that were turned to monsters. And, of course, Memeko... Here's something really weird, though. She basically uses a armor-on ability, where it gives all these other mothers basically suits of armor with aprons on them. Yes, seriously, aprons. The armors look like, I think it's Al. They look like the armor that Al wore from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's like the same exact armor, except the helmet's a little different. And there's like a symbol on it, but basically it's the same design. Heck, even the apron's the same. Yes, he wore apron too on his armor too. So, and of course, well, they go off. Of course, these guys. Of course, he goes after, has them stick them on their moms. And of course, the brothers want to fight the kids, but thanks to the armor, they would basically defeat them pretty easily. I didn't hear something really weird though. Mystico and the girls magically get their armors back. Yeah, they get their clothes back on. I'm like, what the heck? Did the magic get undone? Serena, she basically apparently got her clothes back too. Well, not really. She just abruptly disappeared for some reason. And they said move on to the next floor. They move on, at least, I think, they move up 10 floors. Well, before they get there, before they get to the 100th floor, there's somehow a trap that briefly separates them. And Mystico just walking through a hallway. He thinks basically the whole cliche, oh, we get separated, think it might reunite it. Nope, might think a bit. So he walks down, and then he sees his mom. And he's like, hi, Maka, can you come over here? And he's look down the hallway like, wait, this is a dead end. He's like, yeah, this is all right, come here. And he just picks up a stone. I was like, yep, it's a trap. So he just walks forward, ignores this is not his mom. And then when he gets to the exit, he turns around and there's 100 Memekos. Okay. And then the real Memeko shows up. Yeah, seriously. Oh, in case you're curious though, did the underwear scene happen in the book and this? And the washing one? Yes, this all happened. And as far as I can tell, nothing really much changed here. I think they may have cut a couple lines here, but yeah, they kept pretty much a lot of that stuff in, which kudos for that. So, then they revealed that the other 3 girls did see something. Now, of course, Wise and Michia, they saw their moms. Porta, She doesn't say what she saw. And you might be curious, though, was that changed the book? I don't think it was. I did finish reading it today. I don't remember if they actually, if in fact they actually cut anything from her. Now that I can think of. And they finally get to the 100th floor. And they come across Amicia, where they fight her. Yeah, they finally go one-on-one with her. She's back in her clothes now. By the way, her underwear is basically like leopard stripes underwear. Yes, seriously. So they fight her, and apparently her ability is that she can reflect magic. And look up Mystico and Memiko are able to avoid the death magic casted by, I think it was Mochia. And then Mochia and Porta and Mochia and Wise apparently get put into coffins. So Porta's able to revive them. And this fight lasts a pretty good period of time. Memiko decides to scold her. And apparently it's like a big humongous laser beam. And apparently she's able to survive that somehow. By the way, how she able to deal with Memiko's? She scolded them off screen. And I thought this was kind of weird. Like, I thought it was a continuity error. Like, apparently, like, so scold them. And we don't see it, but we do see it here. And we finally get to the 100th. Apparently, it looked like the 101st floor, where apparently we had this little wish thing. That was the whole thing we were building up toward. Like, to make this wish. And Porta made a prophecy that someone would ask for fresh eggs. And, of course, Emil's, Anita, it's Ameta, where her wish is really stupid. You want what her wish is? Her wish that all moms disappear from the game. And I think this is stupid. Why? Because without moms, next generation will not happen. She's stupid. So, it is Mystico who actually asked for the wish, fresh eggs. Oh, by the way, when the guys attack their moms, they're sort of in the way they don't want to do it, but then of course you have, I'm sorry, I have to keep doing this. Amita, which by the way, Memiko called her Amina-chan, which I thought was so adorable. So with that. Yeah, but Mystico says the wish, and they get the fresh eggs, and then the wish thing disappears. And it was like, no, and then she just disappears. Probably won't see her again. And then, of course, they go back to the Moms Guild, where they eat the fresh eggs on rice, and in case you're wondering, no, I've never tried it like this at all. I've had eggs before. I've had rice before. Never basically rice top egg. I've never had that before. So they all eat it at the Ruined Mommy Guild. And then they decide to leave. Oh, before they leave, they reveal that the jewel that Amicia used to brainwash the guys, apparently it's the same thing that Wise and Machia's mothers used. Now, this is the first one they have intact. Now, who's supplying with it, we probably won't know. Because this was the last episode that aired, though there was the OVA, which had nothing to do with this. It all was completely original. So they leave the town, and they go off. And, well, from the anime perspective, with the exception of the OVA, that was pretty much the end of the series. Yes, this was roughly 2 years ago. Now, I will get my final thoughts on this particular thing when I get a chance to watch the OVA, which I'm going to watch that next. Yep. But in the case of the 12 episodes I watched, these are pretty good. It took a little bit, but I got them done. It took me just... I'd say it took me about... For anime-wise, I'd say it took me about a little over a month. Well, that's because basically between every few episodes, I took a break to read a lot more light novels. That was mainly the reason for it. Oh, and in case you ask, how many light novels have I read officially right now? I mean, as of reading the third volume for this series, this was the 330th book I've actually read. And you're thinking, 330? That's a lot of books. Yeah, especially as a lot of them got done last year. Because I know it gets good toward the end of the year. Let me point out something about these light novels, per se. Now, prior to last year, I did read a good amount of them, but not a lot. I would probably say in almost 2 years, I have read almost 300 books. No, seriously, it is 300 freaking books. Yep. I'd say this all started when I did Test Mrs. New Devil. That's probably where it started with. Yes, I did read the School Brief book before that, but yeah, I'd say this has been going on since then. And I have read a ton of these books. And I do mean a ton of them. And a lot of these books, a lot of them got done as of right now. Yeah, and these following books, I have fully read all the way, like all the English releases for them. These following books, I have read all the books released for them. The Hidden Dungeon of the Dragon Enter. 5 books, read all of them. Konosuba, 15. And on my smartphone, A Free as Zero. How Real is Hero of the Kingdom. Is it wrong to show girls in a dungeon? Overlord of Afritia. How Not to Summon Demon Lord. Saga Time Evil. True High School TXT. The Aztec War. Cautious Hero. Combatants will be dispatched and Sword of Roya. And here's something really weird though. A handful of these series, True High School DxD, The Aztec War, Cautious Hero, Combatants will be dispatched, and Sword of Roya. For these series, all of the books that were released in Japan have all been released here, and currently there's no other books that are scheduled to release in Japan just yet. True High School DxD has not been released here yet. But the original series, High School DxD, has been released here. And you're thinking, really? It has? Yes. Seriously, it has. And you might ask, how many of the books have been released here? Yes, out of the original 25 books that have been released for High School DxD. I mean, the last book in Japan was released almost 4 years ago. The last official book released here was Book 5. Yes, Book 5 has been released. I read this book a few years ago. Yes, so with a fan translation, but I have read it. Yes, so for this one, only the first 5 books, and Book 6 is supposed to come out in just a couple months. And it seems as though that you might think, oh, maybe like a couple months. Mostly anyways. Though between books 4 and 5, it was not 3 months. It was not 2 months. It was like about 4. I'd say it's between like 2 to 4 months between books, but it all depends. There's still like a lot more books released here, but they might release soon. Yes. But yeah, not much else to say about these 2 episodes. They're good. And next up will be the OVA, and that'll be it for this particular anime review series. And pretty much with this anime review series finished up, like once I finish the OVA, the next thing I'm going to watch is going to be, I'm going to be resuming for the first time in almost 2 months, Super Sentai. Yep, I took a break because I had itch starting anime, and plus I had a lot of light novels to read, so why not? Yep. And don't worry, there will be another anime coming soon. I will announce it when I reach episode 25 of Sun Vulcan. Okay? But yeah, so until this next video, bye.